Hi everybody, this is Chapter 7, Give Her Flowers Now, the first draft for the upcoming book, Ice to See the Wind. We're moving right along. You've heard it said, it's wasted on the young, all the days of dancing in the sun. How could we have known when we were kids that there'd come a day like this? The night began with a phone call. A woman on our hospice service had passed, and I was on call to go to the home. I kissed my beloved goodnight, grabbed my bag full of supplies and stethoscope, although I knew I wasn't going to need them. There was no heartbeat to listen to where I was going. I pulled up in the dark neighborhood and found the house I was looking for. I walked to the door, knocked softly, and heard several quieted voices inside. Before I walked in, I took a deep breath. It's always pretty humbling to enter into a room where someone's just died, but I also had a feeling that there was something special waiting in there. I was greeted at the door by the husband of the woman who passed away, who welcomed me in immediately and warmly. I felt sadness there, but also such kindness. There were many family members present. All were notably reserved and calm. I was led right into the room where the woman lay in her bed, pale and still. The husband said, "May I get you a chair? And would you like a slice of pie?" The hospitality was rare for such an environment. He said, "May I tell you something?" He sat on the foot of the bed and touched her feet, separated by a rose-colored bedsheet. He said, "Is there any way we could have imagined this day when we were young and so in love? You know, looking back, I can say I loved her with everything I had in me, but if I could give a piece of this moment to that younger me, I would have given her flowers every day. What good are these flowers now but to lay on her grave, to wish I gave more when we were together?" I heard these words and was stunned by such context. Here was this man sitting at the feet of his dead wife, telling me these things. He was speaking as if I was a younger version of himself, and I was receiving it like a knife to my heart, as though at the thought of my beloved back home. By then, he had offered me another slice of pie and asked if there was anything they needed to do before the mortuary came to carry her away. I told them they were welcome to clean and prepare her together as a family, but to take their time as much as they needed. The man asked his daughter to clean her with him, and I sat in the little black chair in the hallway with the other family members, and we all just sat there in silence. My mind was running full speed. I was seeing the man and his wife in their younger days, enjoying all that beautiful splendor of youth, clueless to the reality of this grim night that awaited them in the future. It occurred to me so clearly, this night awaits all who love. This thought made my heart ache, and it chilled me to the bone. I thought perhaps this is why I feared to surrender fully to love, withholding, afraid of the pain of loss being all the greater the more you love. I thought of the woman I loved, or was learning to love, who waited for me back home. How could I live better, given what I'd seen in that night? Would I continue to hold back in fear, or to seek to love her more in light of this clearly inevitable truth? In other words, would I choose to give her flowers now? It was past midnight at this point, and I thought of my beloved waiting for me, sleeping peacefully in our little candlelit room. When the man and his daughter were ready, I called the mortuary and arranged to have them come. As we waited, we ate some more of that pie, and the man thanked me for allowing him to share his thoughts. I thanked him for the gift of this wisdom, and how his story in this moment had changed something in me. That in a way he was reaching back to a younger version of himself with a vision of the future. After some time, the mortuary came, dressed in those dark suits as they often do, and graciously entered the room and escorted the wife out beneath a perfectly ironed white sheet. I asked if they would like me to stay for a bit longer, but the husband insisted I get home and rest. It was by then nearing 3 a.m. I picked up my black bag of supplies, said my goodbyes to this special family, and the husband walked me to the door. He shook my hand as I left, and he held it as he asked this question. "Are you heading back home to someone you love?" I said yes to my gal. He pulled me a little closer and looked straight into my eye with a subtle sense of urgency and said, Remember this tonight. Love her now while you can. Give her flowers now. I will never forget that night, and since has been a meditation. Each time I buy my wife a bouquet, each time I see a flower anywhere, I think of this night. When I struggle with the waves of living in the goal of love, I try to reach back to that evening. While reaching ahead to that day that will come surely for either her or I, sit in that chair, pie on plate in my lap, and reflect on the precious gift that is the present love. So that's my hope for you reading this chapter, that you consider this story as a window into the future. As painful a moment death is, I invite you to sit next to me in that chair and consider this for yourself. Give love while you can, remembering that like the flower, our time is brief. And if you have loved and lost already, I ask that you consider the gift, though painful as it is, that you can give to another. If you can reach into the longing of the past and deliver a message to those that may be taking such precious life for granted, perhaps a word from you can be a life-changing point in time, as it was for this young man. Loss is inevitable, but as long as we are alive, we have opportunities to give love now, to give those flowers now. You've heard it said it's wasted on the young, all the days of dancing in the sun. How could we have known when we were kids that there'd come a day like this? Appreciate you coming out tonight. I know that it's your job, but eat some pie. 'Cause now I'm here sitting on her bed, and this keeps spinning in my head. Petals turn to ashes, days into the dusk. So it goes for wives and roses and the rest of us. So give her flowers now. They dressed in black and wrapped her in a sheet. I'm glad my daughter helped me wash her feet. Now before you head on home back to your gown, just remember what I said. Petals turn to ashes, days into the dusk. Though it goes for wives and roses and the rest of us. Give her